Hello everyone, welcome to a live webinar on the Magewell Director One. My name is Mark Hall and I'm the National Product Manager for Corsair Solutions. I'm a huge fan of Magewell. Whether you're filming events, whether you're streaming for your council or your church or creating content, you're really going to love what this can do. So this is an overview, hopefully to give you a bit of a run through of what it can do. So Magewell makes some of the best video production tools out there. The Director One is the latest in their arsenal, leading on from the Director Mini, the little 5-inch version. So it makes multi-camera and production really feel like a walk in the park. Today, we're going to check out its top features, do a run through, talk some real world use cases and answer any of your questions, which you feel free to put into the chat, and I'll dive into them at the end, or we can follow this up post the webinar. So let's get started. All right. Let's see why the Magewell Director One is such a gem. It's one box that handles switching, graphics, streaming, recording, and much, much more. And here's what makes it special and how it differs from products like the previous Director Mini, which it expands on. Firstly, it's got a stunning 7-inch AMOLED screen. So it's super bright, super clear, even in outdoors. You can even use another touchscreen to control it. You can use a web GUI, or you can even use the app on the Director Utility, the free app for Android or iPad. Secondly, it's extremely flexible with its inputs. 2 HDMI cameras, 2 USB inputs, and up to 3 live IP sources. So think SRT, NDI, or live HTML5 graphics. It can also handle things like web pages and remote phone cameras over your local network with ease. Third, connectivity is rock solid. It's got a built-in 4G modem, Wi-Fi and Ethernet, along with both 4G and Wi-Fi external antennas. Network bonding is included. Use a speedifier to help keep your stream steady no matter where you are. It streams and records like a pro, up to 1080p 60. So you can send streams out to YouTube, Facebook, or anywhere you want. It records to an SD card or the internal storage. It also has 2 channels of ISO recording as well. The production tools are extremely flexible. You can mix video, graphics, and media into scenes. Switch with a tap. Add chroma keying, telestration, or scoreboard graphics. There's even instant replay for those big moments for schools and creative projects. So I flick over to the GUI, you'll see it here. There's a whole range of integrated scoreboard graphics, telestrations, replays, live HTML5 graphics. It's amazing what it can actually do. The outputs of the unit are super versatile, so you can send basically HDMI to your big screens, or USB can go out to Zoom or Teams, as I'm running in here at the moment. You can also control it with the touchscreen, as I mentioned earlier, or you have the Director Utility app. I have paired it locally with a Stream Deck here, so that's another way that it can run, is off the Stream Deck. You'll see down the bottom on the web page, it makes mention of the Stream Deck and many other ways that you can actually control the unit. So it's also built to go anywhere. It runs on mains adapters, or it can run off NPF batteries. You can see it on the back there. So it's also got cooling on there as well. So you've got a sun shield, which comes with the unit as standard. I've got the sun shield here. And so it's got a lot of functionality over what it can do. All right, so what I might do now, I might dive into a live demonstration of the unit and run through some of what we can do on it. So I've got a unit set up here, and let's walk you through some of the unit and what it can do. I've got the setup running here. Just so you're aware, I've got a couple of feeds running into it. I've got it connected to Wi-Fi. I've actually got a Mevo camera connected to it here as well. And I have a USB camera and a number of feeds running into it. If I go over to the unit, I'll show you, so what you're seeing now, this is actually the screen from the Director One. So if I click onto here, you'll see the output. I'm actually feeding this into Teams, and this is what's running on the display. So to show you that, I've got a, I'll flick over to the little Mevo camera they've got here to show you remotely. Let's go onto here. And I'll go on to my Director 1 feed, and I've actually prepared him earlier here, and you can see in here, there's my Mevo. So this is my Mevo camera. So I've got the unit here. I've got a variety of HDMI 1, HDMI 2 in the side. We've got Ethernet down the bottom here. Apologies for if this is a bit jerky. We have a HDMI out. We actually have a locking USB connector here as well, which can run into Teams or Zoom. On the other side, we've got a USB, another input. We've got a mic and audio, and we have the Wi-Fi antennas up the top, and you'll see down the back of it we have the connections on there for the batteries at the back. So what we'll do is we're going to run you through some of the setup, and I'll go back into the main screen, the configuration area here. So what I've also got is I've actually connected in a mouse to the unit, and I've just connected that via the USB on the side just to show you. So we'll give you a run through of the GUI of the unit. So if I change back to my HDMI out, which is actually the main screen, you'll see my mouse there. Okay, so let's click on the onto the main area there of it. And first of all, we can create a show. So we have the options of creating a 16:9 or a 9:16 show. So it can be set up for things like TikTok, and you can actually recall these shows up at any time later and actually use these. So these might be pre-configured with graphics and whatever you want to display, ready to go for a show, and then you can present that and call that up as needed. You have your albums in there for your recordings that have taken place and replays and screenshots. You've also got then your main settings area. So you've got your network here, you've got your Bluetooth, your display. With the network, you'll see here that we've got network bonding. So we have the Speedify in there as standard, which can actually bond your cellular, your wireless and your Ethernet when it's all plugged in. So you'll see here that I've got no SIM card in there at the moment. I'm not connected to the wireless LAN, but I'm actually on Ethernet. Now, one of the things you can do from the units is, if I go back to the main screen, at any time swipe from the top down and you can see everything that's actually happening. So you can see the Wi-Fi there, you've got the Wi-Fi, you've got the Ethernet, you've got your Bluetooth and your hotspot, and you've also got anything that's actually happening for your inputs. So you'll see there's quite a variety of different inputs that I've got coming through there, yeah, you can see what's actually on those as well. So let's go back to the main area of it, into the settings. Sorry. So back to the settings. You've got your also your Bluetooth, so you can bring Bluetooth audio headsets in and out for monitoring. Display is just your brightness. Storage goes to your storage locations where you want to record to. Then you've got your encoding. Now you've got two channels of encoders, so you can specify the bit rate and what video source that you want to encode, HTML1, HTML2, whatever setup, multi-view, etc., etc. So they can be set up in here in your main configuration area. When that's done, you can actually set up your streaming. So you can specify, if you're going to YouTube, you can go in there and you can specify, put all your details in there and run the test. NDI, SRT, these can be just configured as per you want. And you can actually stream to multiple locations as well, which is very, very handy. Okay, so you've also got in here, we've done the streaming, your recording, specify your recording whether you want MPEG-4 or MOV, and all your other details in there. You've got switching, which is your fading settings on there. Backlight of the LEDs. Then you've got your HDMI out. So you can specify what you want this to use. So you might want this to go to show any any number of inputs or mixers. I'm actually using a duplicate screen because I'm running this into Stream to Teams. So that's what you're seeing at the moment. If I change that to clean program, that's what you're going to see. Now if I go back onto the unit and I specify change that back to duplicate screen, you'll see I'm back on there on the display. Okay, so we're back onto there now. We then go back out of there. We have the same for the USB output as well. So we can control what goes out for the USB, say to Teams as well. So you've got a combination of the HDMI and you've got the really the USB output as well. Let's go back to here. We've got our replay. So we have 2 channels of replay. And you can specify the recording and the length of time, the type of transition. You use a stinger transitions, chroma key for stinger transition. A whole lot of information in it can be configured. So really a broadcast level setup on there. OSC remote control and also shortcuts and system. So there's a lot of functionality in there in what it can do. So we're going to go back to the main screen of the unit now. So let's actually build a scene. I might go through adding a lower third graphics and different source in here and social media, and I'll just explain and show how easy it will do. You can do this. So let me flick over to the back to the Director 1 as well. So I can click on there and I can actually see you know, the full output without the everything down the bottom to control it. But I'll click on my mouse again. You've got your audio levels that are on there. You'll see the program and the monitoring and the USB audio and HDMI 1. So that's where you can control your audio levels. Next is down here is the inputs and how it's set up. So I've got a bunch of things already set up. So I can click on these, Lumens PTZ, and there's HDMI, and there's a picture in there, and there's my Mevo camera in there as well, and I've also got, you know, my USB webcam in there that I can go to, and a variety of other feeds. But let's just show you how easy it is to create a feed or into the unit and configure it. So we'll click on the plus, and you'll see the wide variety of inputs there. We've got HDMI 1s and webcams and video clips and picture. If I wanted to bring in a remote stream like an SRT, I can simply go into SRT caller, or, you know, typically used as an SRT listener, and I'll just put in a name and I'll just put in a port, and then someone can send me an SRT stream and it's going to listen to that stream coming in. We actually had the major units used at the Commonwealth Head of Government meetings where King Charles was back in October with Mesopoint over in Samoa. So they are used in broadcast type setups. So go back to here. HDMI, webcams, video clips, NDI stream. If I was to click on an NDI stream, I can literally go in there and go search, and it shows me all the feeds that are available on there. We're going to bring in a HDMI stream, so let's bring in the HDMI stream that you can see running there at the moment, and I'll show you how you can really manipulate this, and just really the flexible power of what the directors can do in just their really editing and how they can handle feeds. So we'll click HDMI 1. It brings it up into the editing page here. You've then got a whole range of things you can do with this here. So you can crop it, you can frame it, you can label it, you can add layers, picture in picture, you can add transitions. So live on the fly here, you can grab any input and you can just drag it round and turn it over, do what you want. Put a label on the bottom of there, transition. If it was a PTZ, you've got the all the PTZ control, or I can chroma key it on there as well. So let's put a transition to fly in, and we can save that. And if I go back to my main display, you'll see him on here right at the very end, and I click onto him there and he's flying in. So straight away I've just taken a live input, which you can see over here with my hand, and I've brought him in and I've just you know, immensely powerful how it can actually take that feed in, and it can actually just turn that over and really do what you want with it. So we can, you know, sort of the questions that come up occasionally, we get things like people wanting to crop and that. So, you know, I could go into that and I can hold this button down and go into there, and I can quite easily, you know, crop him. If I wanted to crop him, I might want just that picture there, and we'll save him. And let's actually even put another layer over him. So let's put HDMI 2 over in there. So bang, I've actually brought an HDMI input, another input in, I've cropped it, and I've just gone over to it. So you can see how flexible it is in just the control on the unit. If I go back to my main, let's show you some of the other bells and whistles. So if I go to my graphics engines, so you've got a whole range of different graphics you can do on here. So if I click on the plus, you'll see that I've got titles and lower thirds and animated text and clocks. So I could do I might want something simple like a countdown timer. I can click on him, and we might say I want a 3-minute countdown timer with a progress bar, and I'll change the policies that it goes onto an automatic start when it's pushed. And really, as simple as this, I can go onto him, and I can go here, and I can find him down the end and click on him, and as soon as I click on that, it will automatically go on there, and it will start its basically transition or what we set on there. While I'm on that output, I can just show, I can from another source or from a Stream Deck, I can pull up other graphics that I've created on there. So, you know, there's I'll turn off that timer there. I'll put a digital clock on. I'll maybe another animated graphics on there, or, you know, we could have that scoreboard. Bring the scoreboard up there. Now, the scoreboard, I could be streaming here. I can quite easily control this from here. So, you know, the game stopped. I can go to second period of the game. I can change the scores. I can bring in live comments. So, you know, there's a lot that you can do with the unit, and there's many ways to control this. Let's go back to the main unit. So let's click on here. Let's click onto the graphics. Yeah, sorry. And let's turn off some of the ones that I've turned on. So I think we've got, we'll turn off those graphics. So we've also got, well, what I might show is I might actually show you the advanced graphics on the unit. So I might show you, say, the Stinger replays and the instant replay on there. So this can be triggered live. So if, say, someone hits a goal and you're doing a soccer match or a basketball, it can be set to automatically go back 10 seconds and play back at half speed or whatever it might be. Or it can be set for an event that can be recalled later. So if I was to, let's bring up a digital clock on the output here. And if I was to go on to, well, I might actually do this remotely. I might, or actually no, I'll do it from the screen. I can click onto here and I can click quick replay. And if you watch the clock, you'll see that it's actually gone back X amount of I think it was 7 seconds, and it's done a Stinger transition and it's gone back 7 seconds and it's playing back at half speed. And now it's gone back to where we are. So you have the option to do a quick replay, set an event on there. You can also do telestrations on there as well. So you might set up something to be auto clear, say someone's hit a goal, or you hey, that's where we're looking at there. You can scroll to that area or put the graphics on there, and it will automatically dissolve on there as needed. Back with my inputs on here as well, I should mention, you know, you see a lot of different feeds on here. So we can also do things like your mix and match, say the USB or a multi-view setup. So this can be quite handy for multi-view, like a virtual panel. So I can go onto here and go, I want a multi-view. We have a number of different layouts, and I might be having a remote feed coming in from a webcam. So we might say, okay, well, let's select this one, for example, and number 1 will be the HDMI source, and number 2 would be a it would be my webcam source here at the moment, so running there. So that actually creates a multi-view scene that can be recalled as needed and run into the unit. So you're seeing there, brought in that in, so my webcam, and it's going in the side, and it's got the HDMI feed straight into the unit. Let's go back onto the main area now. Hopefully this is all makes sense. I'm sorry, there's a bit of quite a bit in here. Okay, so next I might show you how you can control it with the Director app. So I've got an iPad here. There's a Director Utility app that's available. I'm running NDI HX capture on here. So I'll bring it in as a remote feed into the Director One, just so you can see what's happening. So all I have to do is I go on to Director Utility here. Sorry, a bit out of focus there. So if I was to go back onto my Director One, I've actually created him as a feed in here. So you can see that there. That's my Director. That's actually coming from my iPad that I've got here. I'm doing an NDI screen share. So let's go back onto him. And if I go into my remote assistant, you'll see at the top there, there's actually Director Mini and Director One. I can connect onto the Director One. Now, I have a whole variety, a whole amount of, I suppose, control of what I can do on here. I might actually just jump in here and I might just do a crop first of all. And let's just bring him down here. You've got the view at the top of it, exactly what's happening, and you can go full screen from the device as well. But I'm just gonna crop him down just so you can see what's happening here a bit easier. So let's just go on to back into here. Now, I'm doing all this live, so on the fly, so you can see me there. So let's go Director, and let's go Remote Assistant. I might have lost my crop that I just did. So yeah, I did, sorry. But you'll see down the bottom of the unit that there's all my inputs on there, my pre-built, my camera, my HDMI, my webcams on there. You've also got the graphics on there as well, so you can turn on your graphics and your scoreboards and your clocks and whatever you've got set in there. You can do your streams as well, so how your streams configured. Like you might also want you might want to have even an NDI stream out locally of whatever source, and be monitored by Studio Monitor. So it's very flexible in what you can do. Your album, and you've also got your volumes as well on there. So you can use this to really control what's happening, as I suppose an audio controller. The other thing I might show you is just how well we can actually, or how easy we can use this as a remote camera. So with the remote camera, it creates on the Wi-Fi network, it creates a local SRT, and it's SRT stream, of Android or an iPhone. And SRT has forward error correction, so very reliable and very good streams. So they were designed to really do the best quality stream over the crappiest public internet. So and they're whether it's 2K or VGA or 8K, it doesn't matter. They're future proof. So we'll go back onto the unit, and I'll create one of these on the fly and just show you how easy we can do this. We've got one on there, we'll delete from there. So we'll delete him on there. And sorry, we want to keep him there. So we'll go on there and I'll create a new phone camera. So the phone camera goes on there. We'll call him camera or camera M1, camera mark, whatever, so he's fresh on there. And we can specify the bit rate of that stream and the latency and all the information that's on there as needed. So if I go to create, that creates a stream. I haven't connected to that yet, so what I would do is I would have the iPad unit here, and I would go back to there, and maybe a bit hard to see, but we've got what's called a phone camera. So the phone camera comes up, and you'll see that there's a, oh, he's not in focus there, there's a camera M. So if I connect onto him, he's creating a stream in that will be available on my director. So we can go back to him. Okay, so back to there. Let's actually go back onto my Director 1, and you'll see there's my actual camera stream coming directly in. So it's quite amazing just how you can use an iPad or an Android, and you can bring this in as a remote camera stream. So you can have your feeds in there, but you can have people running around your venue if you're a council, or, as I said, sports, schools. This is great for schools because you could have someone down in the crowd, and they might be controlling it from their device, or they might be just assisting, but then they can create a feed that's it's brought straight in as needed. And there's a whole bunch of control that's on here as well. I can I can zoom in and zoom out, and I have the option to change which cameras, front facing or back facing cameras, as needed. Yeah, so that's the remote camera functionality, and just how easy that actually can be used. So I suppose real world use cases, live events, your concerts, your wedding, your conferences. So you're grabbing your multiple streams, Facebook Live, HDMI output can go to on-site screens. You've got the two hot swappable batteries on the back, as well as your power on there as well. Your churches and your council. So churches can use it for your multi-camera setup and your NDI or Pro Presenter. You can stream NDI out and run it to in-house displays, scoreboards, graphics, HTML graphics if you've got a HTML server. The other thing is education. So schools, as I talked about, so you have that remote camera with the SRT, which is amazing. And we've been asked for years for just products that can do that quite easily. And yes, there's products like the Mevo that we used to do that have an NDI stream and a battery, but everyone has a mobile phone and an iPad, so you can quite easily use that. And you can go as techie or nerdy as you want. You've got your chroma keying, virtual backgrounds, telestrations, and of course your USB UVC output, so right into Zoom or Teams like I'm running here. So really a lot of power and a lot of functionality in what you can do. That network bonding is great. You've also got the SIM card in there, so local games or local sports matches, and obviously with the control. So it's very versatile. Sum it up, you've got the HDMI, NDI, HTML graphics, you name it. You've got cooling, you've got bonding to keep it steady. So you've got one box that really does a whole lot of functionality. You can get the Director 1 now. We have them in stock. They are going through, they're at our Sydney Roadshow today, and they're going to be in the Canberra Roadshow next week with Joel and myself, and then Western Australia after as well. So hopefully that's been helpful. It's pretty cool what you can do, and pretty amazing, just the control of it. But feel free to get in touch with us after this for more of a run through. CorsairSolutions.com.au, or give us a call or drop me a line, and we'd love to sort of help you out with things. Great, thanks for your time.